There's two end zones where teams score touchdowns, and there's a midfield. When the game starts, the ball is placed here, and the team that gets the ball or who is on offense has 3 downs. So they start at first down. They have 3 downs to try and get past this midfield line. And if they do, they get another 3 downs to try and score a touchdown. The end zones have G's on either sideline, so we know that those are the goals. And then the no run zones have small cones right before each end zone and right before each midfield. So the small cones are here. And the largest cones on the field show us where the midfield line is. Here's the G, so that's the goal line. Here's the first small cone, so this is a pass-only area. And here's the midfield line. We run two main types of defense, zone and press. Most of the time we run zone because that's when the other team can pass or run. We run press when it's pass only. So our zone defense is almost always a 3-2 with a blitzer. This person who's blitzing is running at the immediate movement of the ball from the center, and they're getting in as fast as possible. Their job is to disrupt the quarterback and get in front of the quarterback to pressure them. If the quarterback hands the ball off, then their secondary responsibility is try to get the person they hand it off to. These 3 linebackers are looking for the run first. So they're watching the ball and watching the quarterback. Their first step should always be forward. They shouldn't be backpedaling at first. Always look for the ball to be handed off. If it is handed off, then they collapse on the ball whichever side it goes. If the ball is not handed off and it goes for a pass, they have to look left and right to see if there's a player in front of them. If there isn't a player in front of them, then they can back up. But their primary responsibility is this part of the field. These 2 safeties are looking for the pass first and the run second. First thing is they're making sure a wide receiver doesn't get past them, and they're keeping their eye on the quarterback. So if the quarterback throws deep, they're there to intercept the ball and run for a pick 6. Or if they're throwing a short pass that's past the linebackers, they come in, see the ball, and pick it off or knock it down. Then their second responsibility is if it's not a pass play, if it's a run play, they come up and protect the linebackers so a runner doesn't get past them. So what you're noticing is every single teammate on the field on defense for zone is helping each other out. Let's look at an example play. This is a runner pass. The way you can tell is here's the midfield line and here's the pass only line. So the other team has it outside of that area. And I think we can be lined up in a better position. I think our players on this side, we can back up a little bit so it gives us a chance to react to what's happening to whatever the offense is doing. Our player over here is a little bit further away, so that's probably okay. It looks like they have a spread formation. We have our safety here, our blitzer back here, and our other safeties out of the screen a little bit. Their player goes in motion, and it looks like it could be a handoff, and it is. Let's take a look at what our blitzer is doing. He comes flying in, and he slows up a little bit, not really sure what's going to happen. And once he sees the handoff, he explodes right towards the quarterback. Now let's look at our 3 front linebackers. As this ball is handed off, our left linebacker actually takes a step forward towards the play. Our middle linebacker has already moved over towards the right side of the field. So if it's a fake, he's out of position already because look at all that space. And then our right linebacker still has his hands on his knees. That's why we're doing this video, to improve. So notice what's happening. The blitzer made him change directions because he's pursuing. That's exactly what our blitzer is supposed to do. And we have 3 players on this side of the field from the other team with 1 defender. And he's actually in a perfect position to get them because he knows that his safety back here has him covered, which he does. Now on this side of the field, you have 2 players and they're kind of covering, but not really covering this player. What I would have liked to have seen is one of these players take this player on back up, the other player, the center, help. This is the running back who's now going to pass. One thing that I think our back safety could do here is this player is going for a deep pass. So if our blitzer doesn't get to the quarterback, this kid's going to be wide open. So watch this. So watch him fly right back past our safety back there. I like that his eyes are on the play. I think he probably would have been able to adjust, but you definitely don't want that wide receiver to get past you in the far corner. Now the beauty of this play is we have blitzers who get in there super fast. If he doesn't pull that flag or doesn't pressure the quarterback, this could have been a problem or challenge for us. But what he does do is he puts pressure on their quarterback. Quarterback throws it to one of his 3 players, and our Left linebacker is in the perfect position. It's a little bit of an errant throw. I'm not sure if he's trying to throw to him or him. Our player is there to pull flags if they do catch it, but he sees the ball, reads it, goes for the pick. This is another good play to look at. Their offense is in a spread formation with one running back in the backfield. Their quarterback does a motion call, says hike, and the ball is snapped. I want us to think about how we can help each other out. So all our centers have to look back to see which side our blitzer is coming from. Our blitzer is coming in from the left side. They're going to be filling this space right here. We want to think about where our blitzer is going to be to help us out. Our blitzer has to reset and doesn't get as fast a jump as he wanted. And this is a fake handoff to the person in motion. Player over here is ready for it in good position. Player over here doesn't look like they're ready. So it's a fake handoff to dive up the middle. Because our blitzer is coming in on the left side and our center bites on the fake, their play design works perfectly for them, and it opens up the entire side of our defense. So now our blitzer can't get there fast enough, and our right side linebacker is too far away from the play. They bust right up the middle, and this is a huge gain for them. We're going to line up in this position in a zone, regardless of how the offense lines up. So for example, if they have that spread offense or a bunch offense, we're still lined up in a 3-2 with the blitzer. If they go overload on one side, what we can do is we can shift over a little bit, but still keep the same formation. Let's look at a couple scenarios. Say the offense runs an X-wing back there, and this first running back comes across and they get the ball. Our middle linebacker reads that they have the ball and they go right for them. And the outside linebacker is making sure that the player doesn't bounce outside. And they're right here to stop them too. So we have our center linebacker that comes flying in, and they both have a chance of pulling the flag. Now, if that offensive player happens to cut back and go the other way, the center linebacker comes in with them, and the corner linebacker stops them. Now let's look at a pass play when we're in zone coverage. Here's the offensive routes. One wide receiver is cutting into the middle. One wide receiver is going wide. The center is cutting right to the right side of the field. One wide receiver is cutting behind that corner linebacker. And this player is moving in a sweeping position. We don't know if they're going to get the handoff or not. So the front linebackers are keeping their eye on him. He doesn't get the ball, then he goes out for a pass. What are we doing as a defense? Like I said, these three linebackers are looking for the run first. They don't move until that ball is not handed off. And if the ball isn't handed off, they are now dropping back in coverage. Because this player just came across the field, this linebacker has to stay there just in case they're going to pass to him. So he's protecting that side of the field. This middle linebacker is noticing that the center goes out wide, so he's not following them. He knows that our player over here, our right side linebacker, has it covered. So he's looking around for another player coming into a zone. This wide receiver is. So he's looking at them come across the field, and he's going to back up and try and intercept the ball. And this linebacker has two players going into a zone. So his primary responsibility is the player in front of him. He sees the center cutting across, and he's staying right here to make sure he pulls their flag if they get it, or if the quarterback tries to drop in a pass behind him. Now, the two safeties are making sure no touchdowns are thrown. So our left side safety sees that this player is going deep, so they have to cover them and shade way out of the play. So this shows you the importance of our blitzer. If the blitzer can get in there fast enough and pressure the quarterback, they won't have time to make any of these throws except a short one to the center, which we'll probably already have covered. Now let's look at our second defense, called the press. We only use this in a pass-only situation. So this is how it looks. We're matching up person and person with how they line up offensively. Our tallest players should be lined up with their tallest players, and our fastest players should be lined up with their fastest players. And our blitzer has to find a lane to get in the quarterback with how the offense lines up. If the other team lines up in a spread offense, we just shift with them as they move, and you stay right on them. Do we like when they run a spread offense and we're running the press? Because it gives better lanes for our blitzer to get in there and attack the quarterback. The most important thing about the press offense is to not let the wide receiver get any space. So I would like you to be as close as possible to them without tackling. This is a good example of press coverage. Their team is setting up in a spread offense one of our players doesn't know who to get. This player right here is one of our faster players, so he's like, I'm getting this guy. So the other players have to figure out what's happening. Our tallest player goes to the tallest player. So they're pretty well matched up. Our player is still trying to find out what's happening. They're running a rush play. Our players are fast enough and smart enough that they react quickly. Hands on him, hands on him. He's already recovered to stay with them. Got the blitzer coming in. He's tight. He's got this player here. That's really good press coverage. Blitzer comes in. I mean, look at how close these guys are playing to them. I'd like to see a little bit tighter coverage on that outside player, but pretty much every player on the other team. I think the only area of improvement of this is look at the blitzer. He comes flying in. He should start stutter stepping now, like you do in soccer, and getting his feet close together and slowing up so he can stay in front of the quarterback. Quarterback throws a move on him, gets some space, and tries to find an open player. These are the most dangerous plays for us in press coverage when they get some freedom, and it didn't matter. Everyone is covered. If this is a better throw, that's intercepted. Defense is fun, and defense helps you become a good teammate. Now let's go out there and play some football.